you're watching this. Thinking about you guys, just wanted to say hello. And I wanted to address something because it needs to be addressed. So, quiet quitting. Yep, I've talked about this before. And I'm going to talk about it again because there's some patterns I'm seeing that I hope to be the change agent in breaking those. I'm doing this live specifically on a Sunday because this is when people normally have the Sunday blues, right? Where we just dread Monday, we dread the upcoming week. Maybe we feel a little bit of heaviness, a little pain in your chest because you know what's coming in a couple of hours. By now, everybody's familiar with this term of quiet quitting. It's a buzzword, but it's really much more than that. It's much more than a trend, it's much more than something to do. I think it's an epidemic. It's not fun and games. If you find yourself doing this or you've been doing this for a long period of time and you don't really see yourself getting out of it, then it's planting really for your future. If you haven't already on YouTube, make sure you hit that and subscribe to my channel. If you're on, just click the link and make sure that you subscribe there. Lots of good stuff for you that I give away for free, but it's all very good experts. Some of it is instinctive that I've experienced, so make sure you go ahead and subscribe to my channel. So, quick refresh on what quiet quitting is basically when professionals stop giving their best at work and they just resolve to do enough not to get fired. Like, I'm just going to show up because I have to pay the bills. This is what I need to do. I have to do this. So I'm not going to give any more. I'm not going to overgive because they're not going to care anyway. So I'm just going to stay like right here. I'm not insubordinate, but I'm not going to be a superstar either. So, I mean, that's checking out basically, right? So these professionals have checked out. But my concern is that in doing that over a prolonged period of time, you've shut off your freedom, you've shut off fulfillment in any form in order to pay bills. And I get it. And some of us generationally have been kind of taught that, but it's not going to help you. And y'all know I consider myself to be a professional purpose launcher. So, of course, I'm going to have a problem with this. Really, quiet quitting is a form of cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance. Who knows what that is? So, cognitive dissonance, if you don't know what it is, it's basically having a mental conflict with yourself because your actions and your beliefs don't match. You're basically a walking contradiction for yourself. Every day you wake up, you're a contradiction because you're doing things that you really don't believe in or that you really don't want to do. It's an actual thing. So, quiet quitting was really birthed out of that term. So, really quickly, I just want to outline why doing this is affecting your health. Like it's not just, yeah, I quiet quit. Like I have been in conversations and I've heard people have conversations about quiet quitting like it's just, coffee table talk. But no, really it's not a good thing for you for your future. Also, if you know somebody who you've had this conversation with, go ahead and share this information with them to let them know this is not a game, it's not a joke. Let's pay attention to where we are so that we can make some changes so that we can really be salt and light to the earth. That's what I believe we're supposed to be doing. So, your physical health, how quiet quitting affects your physical health. Well, for one thing, your skills become dull. Your gifts, counts, talents, and skills become dull. I've heard it said before that your gifts increase with use. But 9 times out of 10, if you're quiet quitting, you're not using your gifts. You're not using those skills that you're excited about, that really benefits people, that you can just flow in and do all day and just not get tired from doing it. But those skills become dull when you don't use them, which of course is going to affect you being promoted, is going to affect whatever you put on your vision board, whatever your goals were for 2023, your New Year's resolution that you probably already are falling off of. But you're not using it. It's becoming dull. That means you can't use it. So you have to stay sharp. You have to keep up with the times. right? Especially if you are in a digital space or even whatever it is, you have to keep it moving. You have to keep learning. You have to keep applying with application and using those things. So if you're not using it, it's dull. And then that brings you further from the place you want to be because that's not attractive to employers. If you haven't used something or even in practical application, you're rusty. So quiet quitting does that for you. As I mentioned, it also prolongs your promotion. So deep down somewhere, you want to be better. You want to be in a better place. You want to be in a better, higher level. You want to make more money. You want more respect, authority, influence, all of that. But quiet quitting is not going to get you there any faster. If anything, you have sat down on the path while the rest of the world is moving, growing, and passing you by. And when I say the rest of the world, I don't necessarily mean people. I mean the world is actually moving and spinning, and you're just sitting down with it. You're going against the grain. And then also a physical effect of quiet quitting is that it makes you lethargic. Anybody tired or find themselves tired all the time? It makes you tired. It's draining to show up every day for most of your awake life to do something you don't want to do. It's draining. It takes your energy, takes your drive, and sometimes it takes your mental capacity for anything new, for a fresh wind, for a fresh growth, or whatever. Hey, Alika. But yeah, it's draining. It doesn't help anybody for you to be, and it really don't help yourself, your family, whoever you're in community with. It doesn't help you to quiet quit. Okay, switching gears into the mental effects of this. You become a high functioning person with anxiety. Anxiety is already hard enough. Uh, but high functioning means you're adapting to it. So it becomes so familiar to you that you don't even realize that you are accepting it as truth. You're accepting it as this is the way that we're supposed to do things, is to be anxious all the time, which of course affects you physically, right? It makes you tired to be anxious, but you also don't have any peace. And peace, you can't put a price on peace. You also can't be in purpose when you're not in peace, when you're functioning in anxiety all the time. So even though it may not seem like anything is changing, of like, oh, okay, yeah, yeah, I quiet quit. Okay, that's what you see in the front of your mind, but subconsciously, that's creating anxiety, and you're doing nothing but adapting to it, which is going to burn you out at a rapid rate. Quiet quitting also is self sabotage because you are saying no to what you need, right? To me, gone are the days of, okay, let me just do this very awful, sucky thing for the next 20, 30 years and then I can retire. What? Absolutely not. Not on my watch if you're working with me. But you can't go any further. You can't launch any higher because you're doing this that you don't want to do. So like I mentioned before, your skills are becoming dull. You don't have the energy. You haven't allowed yourself to mentally explore new things or to make more money in any of that. You haven't done that. So it's self-sabotage. It's not nothing. You're not just paying your bills, but you're killing your future ultimately. You just burning it up. Whatever great things you have planted, whether it's your degree, networking connections that you've made, you're burning all of that up for your future when you quiet quit. Quiet quitting makes you lazy. I know. We don't want to hear it. Yep, but I'm all in your front yard with this one. It makes you lazy because you've adapted to, well, I really want to do this, and well, I'm just going to do like this much. That is not isolated in that way. It spills over into other aspects of your life. Spills over into your hobbies, it spills over into your relationships. Again, because you're spending most of your awake life at work, you're spending a lot of time forming this muscle of laziness. So it begins to take over in other areas of your life. And that's awful. And then lastly, you make poor decisions. Again, it's dysfunctional right? To be doing things that you don't believe in or that you don't want to do, but you've accepted it as truth, and then you are applying it and engaging it and exercising it every day. But that affects your decision making because you are already rationalizing that this is okay over a longer period of time. You're rationalizing that you should only work to live and to pay bills and nothing else. So when you rationalize that, you start to rationalize other things that shouldn't be rationalized, that things that need to be addressed, things that need to be broken down, cut open, explored, dealt with. And this includes your other behaviors, your habits. You start to rationalize your bad habits or how people treat you. You rationalize your boundaries, and the list goes on. So, as you can see, mentally, quiet quitting is just like not good for you and your future. And ultimately, the people who you're called to serve is not good for the company you work for, and it's not good for what you were called to do on this earth. So, what should you do now? One, be loudly honest with yourself, not just a whisper. It's kind of like, yeah, I probably shouldn't be doing this. No, get in the mirror, do what you have to do, zoom and look yourself in the eyes the best way you can and say, I can't do this anymore. I'm worth more than this. My bills are only a part of my life, but they shouldn't be driving every decision that I make. I have something to offer and people need it. I will not continue on this path. That's being loudly honest with yourself, taking it out of your thoughts, but also it's showing up in your actions of you walking in a different way. That'll start to minimize your attachment to the comfort of quiet quitting. Make sure you spend time with people that are going to be a mirror for you to say, why are you still doing this? Remember back in the day, we did our vision board party together, and I remember you wanted to do this. No, no, I'm not even going to allow you to joke about this. I'm not even going to allow you to get comfortable here. But someone that's a mirror that's like, no, 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 ma'am, this is not the way. And I'm going to at least keep it in your face, because sometimes we need to hear voices outside of ourselves. But keep those people around you. The people that I'm close to, we do that for each other in a loving and an honest way, but that's iron sharpening iron. And you need those kind of folks around you, not the people that's going to be in your pity party with you. And so you just commiserate together. No, 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 no. And then give yourself a deadline to get out. Plain and simple. If you want for this not to affect your health and for you not to be burning up your future, you have got to set a date and a deadline to get out so that your skills aren't dull, so you can finally feel freedom in your work, because that does exist. It's not just for fairy tales and princesses, it's a real thing. But give yourself a deadline. If that feels a little overwhelming to you, make it 6 months. And that way you can slowly, one toe at a time, start to make different decisions. And ultimately, also get some support, get some help. That's why coaches exist, because they are your accountability partners to walk with you to move. Because obviously, you're in a place where you can't really move out by yourself. So, it's nothing wrong with getting help and support from a professional, an expert like myself. This is what I do all day long, and I love to do it. And I've been there and I've done it. So talk to me. Let me know if you can see yourself in anything I said. This is part of being loudly honest with yourself. Can you say, yeah, I do that? Yeah, I've become lazy. Let me know. Put it in the comments to see I've done this, or maybe you've overcome this. Put that in the comments too, because people need to see that. We need to be infusing hope in our conversations. You can also check out some of my other related videos on this topic, such as are you or your employees quiet quitting, what to do in the waiting room, or aligning to God's idea of success. For more information about me, to get a free 30-minute career strategy session, I got all kind of resources, blog posts, all that fun stuff. A 90 days to quit checklist that you can take advantage of. Go to my website at www.upwardlypaidpath.com Or you can follow me on all social media channels at upwardlypavepath.com. Yes, be loudly honest with yourself. It's fun. And I mean, you're not offensive to yourself, right? Well, you shouldn't be. And if you are, that's a whole nother conversation. But um, thanks for hanging out with me this Sunday. Absorb everything that I'm saying and then reach out and let me know what you're going to do differently, if not this week, within the next 3 months, within the next 6 months. All right. Well, I will check y'all out next week.